Okay, so the bed is off the shop truck. What I'm getting ready to do is I have that aluminum tank I picked up from CPP. It's a 20 gallon, maybe 22. Aluminum mounts to the frame. It's way better than this budget one that I got a long time ago. That's a great tank, it's just way too small. I think I'm burning a little more gas now. So I snatched off the bed. I'm getting ready to fit that tank. It's in a box over there. I'll pull it over here and show it to you. And start figuring out how to fit it in there. Check it out. Okay, so here's the fuel tank I got from CPP. I actually went out there to buy one for the 57 and the price was right, so I got two. I've always had this older one in mind. This is a tank's tank. It's a universal for like a hot rod or something like that. And I pretty much just threw it in here to get going, get in the mix, and that's exactly, it did its job. Now I'm going to take that off, cut off those brackets, and reinstall this one. 22 gallons. This was, I want to say 12 or 14 gallons. It's not very much. I had to fill up 4 or 5 times when I went to zip tie drags. So basically I was racing from one exit to the next. I guess I could have just slowed down. No. Man, look how filthy this thing is. I need to straighten some of that stuff out. I also have, I don't really think I have the time right now, but I have that HPI subframe reinforcement that mounts, takes the place of that. The lower control arms attach right there. Those slotted spots right there are the trans cross member, just so you have a reference of what it looks like when it goes in. I got all the boxing kit and everything for the frame. It's a really cool kit. I actually called them up and bought the darn thing because I wanted it. But it's a little time consuming to install. I don't think I have time right now. Get to get the gas tank going right now. I probably do have time, but the reality is I like to drive my stuff. So I'll take it apart, I'll do some work on it, I'll put it back together, and I'll go drive it some more. Here's a close-up of all the QA1 suspension. It's actually a bolt-in kit, but when I got this thing, someone had already cut the frame up quite a bit on the inside, so I went ahead and tacked it there and there. Aggressively tacked, I guess would be the right term. I was going to put it all in there, put the frame on a fixture, get it all squared up, weld it complete, then have the whole frame powder coated. But I'll probably do that at some point, but not at this point. Cool thing is how the rear end is adjusted. Change my pinion angle, which I might do because I need some traction. I'm coming up short on traction now that the turbo is working well. I got 1,000,000 miles. Look at all the dirt on this thing. Yeah, I need to give this thing a bath. It needs a wash. So that's next. I think I'm going to roll this thing out and give it a whoosh. And then I'll pull that tank out and get the new one in. I just noticed one of my gravel guards is missing. I did not remove that. It removed itself. So maybe they weren't honking to say hi that day. Okay, so I just ran it outside, backed it up, fired up the old Honda pressure washer, and gave it a whoosh. Cleaned up okay. So now I'm going to rack it up and then get that tank out of there. Here's a quick peek of the fit. This is a bracket I made when I put the other tank in. I'm probably just going to leave it because it works well. It's not interfering with anything. Yeah, fits in there nicely. I'll actually be able to get in there and use a long wrench. That's why they give you that nut plate when I mark this. This goes right inside here. And then I don't need to put a wrench on there. I will just mark that, drill the holes, and we're good. I think the center hole I'll be able to use as a reference. Yeah, definitely. Yep, so the center hole on that bracket is the reference. Drill 2 more holes and then punch holes through the brackets that hold the tank. All right, here's a little tip for you. Don't forget to mark your lines. It's an arrow pointing to the pump, so that's pump side, and there's an arrow pointing away from the pump, so that's return. It's not the end of the world, but it does become a bit of a pain when you put it all back together and can't figure out why it won't start. Okay, so here we go. I used the little installation brackets that they gave you and used them as a pattern to mark the frame using a factory hole that was already in the frame to center everything. And then I did the same thing, transferred the holes onto the tank on both sides. I like to go ahead and just bolt the bracket in and make sure it's not binding. Plenty of room to adjust both sides. Now I'm going to squirt some paint on these things because they give them to you bare metal. Which the price is right, so I'm not going to complain. So after I get that done, I'll spray a little paint on the frame, and using my custom fixture and my installation tool, I will lower the frame back down on the tank. Okay, so I fabricated this custom fixture to install the tank. You probably don't want these at home. Yeah, I had this fixture left over from another job I did. I think I would rather put some tape on it now as opposed to trying to fish all the dirt out of it later. Yeah, this picture is completely adjustable. So that's good. Nice. it's all bolted up. John McGann stopped by.
Sorry.
Oh, John, guess what? They're making a video here. Gonna make you famous, buddy. The bolt's in pretty straightforward. You can see I modified the frame for my other gas tank. That's what that little notch is. If you try this at home, it will probably look nice and straight. That's it. Now I'm going to do more stuff, put it together, hook up a fuel pump, and make more horsepower. See you guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, tell a friend, tell an enemy, leave a comment. See ya. Fries are done.